friendship.
Cheers to friendship.
Cheers.
I love it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good.
Welcome back to Thinksipwrite. So we've got some guests on this episode. Can anybody see us? We're like 30 yards away from the,
We have like
camera.
little itty bitty heads. This is Bill. Bill, what do you do?
I am
a hairstylist.
I don't know if you could see it, but co-founder of Vesper Brothers Foods.
Amazing sauces, amazing brands. You guys have like
Philadelphia's favorite pasta
you guys have
sauce.
like balsam. You have like what other products do you have?
We do we do pasta. We're known for our pasta sauce.
Right.
We do olive oil, balsamic vinegar, some extra
pepper oil. You started.
And I've also found marinated mushrooms.
Marinated mushrooms in Whole Foods Market.
Yes, I have found those.
Absolutely.
You guys have to check that out.
Yep.
And we also have his gorgeous wife, Lex.
Hi.
One of my girls.
Girl.
Pretty sure everybody in this episode, other than Bill, is going to be speaking louder than the crickets.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
So we're going to be talking about friendship because I think that's such a, like an important thing. I mean, we're getting close to our 40s.
fine, because I'm totally happy with that, because all the friends that I have are right up here. They talk to me all the time. I have no other friends, and I'm totally happy with that. But these guys are pretty good, you know.
We're good to
including
have
you.
the back burner.
Thanks,
You know,
babe.
just a good
Thanks.
friend. So
But now I want to ask you guys, like, can you go back and think about your first real, like, best friend? The first person, like, maybe, like, as a
You
girl,
can?
obviously,
Oh, yeah, are you
like,
kidding me? That's because I actually had friends. Bill didn't have friends growing up. So
like somebody
I
that
know
you,
exactly who it is.
right, like somebody that you gave that, like, best friend charm
Yeah.
to,
Of course.
right?
I just went to a bridal shower for one of those met when we were born, basically.
Aww.
Like, came out of the womb, friends. And we're still friends to this day. Now she lives in Colorado, but we still
Yeah,
stay in touch.
that's amazing.
You know?
See, I love that when people can stay friends for so long.
yeah.
You know, obviously, you have your brother.
I have a twin brother, so
Right.
yeah. I mean, it's maybe not fair to say
But see,
that.
I would say that's
but-
been a hindrance and helpful because it's blocked him from making. I'm serious when I say.
Right. Yes.
Like, he didn't have a whole lot of close friends.
Totally
because
true.
He has his brother.
Yeah, but
Because I
that's
see
all
the
that's all
fallback
you need,
on.
because you know what? Like, I can honestly say, I mean, you know, my wife's my best friend,
Mm-hmm.
but my brother has always been my best friend. And
yeah, but
we're
you're
4 years apart. We're
Right.
4 years apart, but he's still like, anything that happens, like in my life, I automatically call him and I'm like, dude,
Well, you share news
This
with him all the
happened.
time.
like
Right.
like we talk about nerd stuff all the time, you know.
But you do
it's
have
like-
your friends that you grew up with.
I do, and I still.
And you're
I
and
still
it would
still
be,
friends
you would
with
be
them.
even you I mean, it's hard to say, but you might be even closer if you were the exact same age. You grew up, you were in the same
Yes.
classes, you had
Right.
the same friends, you did the exact same
See,
stuff
I
at the
agree
same
with
time.
that. Like, we're not
So
twins.
it's,
Right.
you
I would
don't-
love
you
to have a
can't
twin that looked
understand
like me and be like, hey, girl.
I
but
would
you know
love to
what?
have an army of clones that look like me, because I feel like the world would be a better place.
Oh, my God.
And that's just the way it goes.
You and your friends up in your head can go
Yes.
start your own
I'm
compound.
not sure if
See?
everybody could have hair like this.
Right?
But no, like, you think about that, right?
And I
Yeah.
will say the one thing about having friends, though, is that you come from everything with a different perspective. So
Sure, that's true.
to have your brother your entire life, it's like they
That's
look
your
at things-
family.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
your family.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you guys are saying. That doesn't mean that I didn't have friends.
Our
We
13
go-
followers are our friends. You know, like, you know.
No, I feel like you
14.
you go through different phases in your life, right? Like different chapters in your life. Like you'll go through high school and you have so many friends. The more friends you have, the more popular you are, right? But then when you start getting into college and adulthood, you start to realize that your circle becomes smaller.
Yeah.
Well,
Sure.
because
Right?
you start to realize that it's quality and not quantity.
Yes.
Right.
Right?
And then you know, and you guys aren't parents, but you know, you got
They're
your brother
Animal
and his wife.
parents, and that's very
Animal parents,
important.
That
That's
actually
true.
counts.
That's
So it's kind of like you start to realize that people go their separate ways when they have kids,
Yes.
and
Right.
and
Yes.
it's
Which
kinda
we
like,
found. We found
Yes.
that.
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
Yeah.
And
We did too.
it's
in the
understandable. It's understandable to an extent, but then when you start to get into and you've experienced this a little bit with your, with your brand and everything. You start to get to a point where family that you haven't talked to in years is suddenly wanting to be a part of your life.
Or friends,
Or
right?
friends that you haven't talked to in years suddenly are getting back in touch with you, and it's kind of like, well, okay, where have you been through all my hard times?
Right.
And now there's a success story, or at least semi-success, and you want to be a part of that. And it's kind of like, at the same time, they're your friends or your family.
So then you start analyzing, like, is this really true? Like, do they really want to, like, be part of, like, my friendship? Or, like, are they just using me, right?
Right.
That's when you start to analyze that, right?
Yeah.
But there's the people that stick through it till the end. I mean,
And I do, and I have my one good friend, like, we've had our ups and downs. She's my best friend, and she was pregnant first. She had her kid first. We didn't have kids. We were totally separate, different chapters in life. And her mom even said, like, if it's meant to be, you guys, your chapters will cross
Right,
again.
right.
And we did.
well,
and we did.
And we live an hour away from them, and we're still really good friends with them.
She is, and
you know?
she's like my sister, and my kids know them as aunt and uncle, and that's the way it's always going to be.
Well,
How
that's
about
you
now,
know?
did you experience that though? Like once you got successful with the sauce, like were people coming out of the woodwork that you hadn't talked to in a while?
Well,
Keep, just keep sipping from that red solo cup.
I think that to answer your question, maybe not necessarily yet, but I think that to your point, that as we get older and as we have kids and you have your own family and you have jobs and you get into the quote unquote real world, it gets harder and harder to have a genuine, real
Yes.
relationship with other
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely.
Because you know what? It takes a lot of hard work.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You gotta call that person, you gotta text that person, you gotta keep in touch with that person.
I only text.
That is true. We can attest to that. But it's you have only 24 hours in a day. And if you're sleeping for
Oh my God,
a quarter
it's
of that,
ridiculous. Yeah.
you don't have that much
No.
time to be able to devote to a quote unquote friend.
Right.
Yeah.
When you're younger and you're
That's what you're living for, your
Yeah.
friendship,
Right,
exactly.
right?
Yes.
You don't have
You're
that many worries.
Actually, you're actually
So right.
selfish.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Yes.
you're living for your friendship.
Exactly.
You're not trying to pay bills.
No.
You're not trying to
The
raise
next
children.
biggest decision is where you're
Right.
going out on Saturday night.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
What
not
am I
about-
wearing?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What club are we going
Right.
to?
Mhm.
So to have a
It's a different
whole
friendship.
group of friends is easy.
Yeah.
But as you get older, it's a lot harder.
And
Yeah,
you know what?
it is.
Another quick story. It's so funny that we're talking about this because just how friendships can develop. So another girlfriend who lived in North Carolina since college, so the past 14 years, just recently moved back up here.
Yeah.
She's been my high school friend forever. Like we would text and call,
Yeah.
and she had her baby down there. Now they're recently back up here, and we went out for drinks the other day, and I just felt like it was a different person.
It go both ways though. So do you think that's because you matured and she didn't, or because you both experienced things in different ways? And
I would say we're definitely the maturity on the same level. I mean, she's
Okay.
a single mom now, so she's
All right, so you're
working
both very
single mom.
immature.
Yeah, I think
They were both immature.
our
Listen,
immaturity went from here to
You
here.
don't want to know what they were doing
yeah.
in high school.
Oh, I don't know
It
how
was,
we survived.
any worse than what I was
I have
doing.
no idea how we're still alive. No idea.
So I mean, how can you even say that you would expect
No,
her
my one
to
friend.
be the same person?
When I met you, my one friend, I was really, we were best of friends. Like, we did everything together, and we tried to rekindle things.
You go
You're
different
just
ways
different.
because
And
you're
we did.
experienced.
Our kids hung. She had kids. I have kids, and we tried, and it was just
It was like it wasn't working.
it was weird. And I'm like, what is going on?
You weren't
This
vibing,
is weird.
and
Right.
why force it?
There was no vibe, like
Right.
at
Right.
all. Like
Right.
there was nothing, and I'm like, what was I
And it's-
doing
and
then
there
that
was
I'm not
no-
doing
there's
now?
never any hard feelings there. It's just,
No,
it's just
we.
this
If I
weird-
bump into her,
Right, absolutely. No hard feelings.
no.
Still would consider her a best friend.
Right.
It's just.
It's just you're
It's
different.
not
It's different
natural.
now.
Doesn't
You're at a
feel,
different stage
yeah,
in life.
Exactly. It's, yeah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, though, I don't necessarily always see that as a negative because it could morph into something that is still a positive situation that you would enjoy. It's just different than
Just
it was
different
when you were
experience.
younger.
Yeah.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's
I mean, I feel like some of our friends, though, our old friends, like they have stories that some of our newer friends may not know. You know, and
Yeah.
that's like
Oh.
you're like,
Those
oh
memories.
man, they
Yeah.
have some stories.
Right.
Still
you know?
stories that come out about me, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
but you're
oh my
still
God.
friends with those guys.
Yeah, I know, and
you know?
and they're
They
you know,
always
good
bust
friends
on you.
though. Like,
Oh
you
yeah.
keep in touch with
Oh
them
yeah,
all
well,
the time.
not
Kindergarten,
all the time. I
preschool.
mean, I'll go for months without talking to them. But the one
Yeah.
guy, and
Yeah.
I've been friends with since kindergarten.
Yeah.
That's how I think about it. But no, I mean, we'll go for 6 months without talking,
Yeah.
and then suddenly we'll just get a text message. And I actually got one tonight as I showed up here.
He's like one of my
From 'em.
favorite people now.
And I'm just like, hey man, what's going on? You know, and we'll talk back and forth for a couple minutes, and that's it. It was just every 6 months we'll hear from
Right.
each
But
other.
I think that's
Yeah.
what friendship's like
you
when
know,
you're
and it's
older.
like that's how you
Yeah.
know.
Like you can
It
go
is.
months
You're
without
right.
talking,
Yeah.
and then you just pick up right
Right.
from
Well,
where you
there's
left
certain
off.
people in your life that you connected with on such a deep level that no matter how long it goes, you hear from that person, and it's like that time never passed.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
And you might not necessarily already automatically start hanging out with them again or seeing them all the time again.
Yeah.
But on a like an emotional level, you still click.
But you know
what
what's
I
funny
mean?
though is when you see those people that you haven't seen in a while, in your head you're like, oh my god, we're gonna click like we
Yeah.
used to,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're like,
But
That's
that's
how.
different though. Then to me, that's different because
but why
there's
does that like we grow? I guess
We grow.
right?
But
Yeah,
this-
we mature.
yeah. But the people
Yeah.
that I'm talking about, like we were on TV today. I heard from a friend of mine who was literally like this guy was like me and my brother's like brother. Like we were
Live
together
with them,
all the
yeah.
time. We were like
You haven't talked to him in a
triplets.
while.
We don't talk as much as we used to, like nearly as much as we used to. We used to be together every single day.
Right.
And when I hear from him, it's like I'm hearing from a brother that I don't talk to all the time.
Right.
And if I see him, if he showed up here tonight, I would feel the same way about him as I did back then.
Yeah.
I think that then there's other people who you
But
have
why do you
that
think that
connection to.
separated them? Like why do you, just drifting and growing and
Yeah, like
did
just
he move
life
away
gets in,
or
no, like just life gets in the way.
I think it's everything
Things
from
happen,
career
career,
to just,
relationships.
you know, you
Relationships
you
is the
go
big
away
one.
to college, you go to different places. You know,
Right.
But see,
you-
like Jess. I'm gonna name drop Jess because
We
you know,
love
Hey,
Jess.
Jess,
We
love
love Jess. Delco.
Like Delco girl. I was about to say.
she is a Delco
Delco in the
girl now.
house.
You mentioned
But-
Jess and not mention Rob. I mean,
And Rob too, obviously. Scuba Steve, he knows it's an inside joke. But that's my main girl. Like, I mean, we went through pretty much a lot of our like
guys went through everything
20s
together.
together.
I mean,
And I felt like people were always like, "Oh, you're not going to be friends. You work together. You do this together. You're not going to be friends. It's not going to last." And she moved out to Delaware County. Yes, we don't see each other as much.
We're gonna get her to move. Get them to move here.
Shut
Jess.
up. No, when she lived in Northeast, it was easier. Like it was closer, whatever. We do not see each other as much, and we miss each other. Like I just went to her daughter's birthday, and we were only there for like 2 hours, but we can like automatically say the same. Like we can look at each other, say
Yep.
the same funny
Yep.
things, like just reconnect. And
but I feel like
that is my
but
girl
it's
through and
friends
through.
like that. It's friends like that, like you're talking about, and
Yeah.
you know, like I was talking about earlier, and you know, they're the friends that you get together with that you haven't seen in a
Yeah.
long time, and it's just,
and
it's
you guys
just-
have that, right?
Yeah.
you know,
Like,
Yeah.
do you have that?
you can reconnect like you haven't.
You're like
you
my
haven't been
brother.
separate.
He's my brother. Remember
He's
when
like-
we both lost our front tooth? That was fun.
Both lost your front tooth.
What?
That story. That is
What?
not a real story, but
We
that's
both-
okay.
We both got poison ivy.
Oh my God.
You
Wow.
both lost your front tooth?
I need a dab again. That story didn't actually
dab.
happen.
You can't
so
wait.
I'm
Can't
not
wait.
sure.
But
Can't
see,
wait to
isn't
start
it
it.
amazing that you guys can like live through those things together?
Me and my brother?
Like, no, just like anything, like
Yeah.
you
Any
know,
friend.
Yeah.
But I
that's
think
your best friend.
It's
But do
thing
you
about
have a best friend other
No,
than?
he doesn't.
Well, I mean, I would say that you guys.
You are,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, did I put
But
you
I
on the
mean-
spot? Or
no,
you guys
but
not-
I mean-
you guys
No.
don't really like
No,
each other at all. I
We
mean,
hate
pretty
each
sure.
other.
Right.
Actually.
She's okay.
She's okay.
You know, it's like she's.
No, but I'm just saying, like, when you step out of that zone, right? You're my best friend. I have, you know, my brother obviously is not here, so I wish I had that connection with him or whatever. But we always go to our, like, cousin's family, whatever. To me, it would be like my husband. I have my in-laws, which my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law are really close to me. And then, like, I look to you guys, too, because I really got close to you guys. And I do have other people, like Kathy and Dan. Like, I really love them, too.
Yeah.
Like, they're one of our really close friends. Jess and Rob, obviously, are my, like, number one on the top. Like,
Right.
you know.
It's just it's just weird how life
Oh,
goes.
my God, I
and
didn't
then you
mention
see,
people. People are going to turn back now and
And
be
then-
like, what about me?
But
follow
like
you.
you go to
No, people are going to be pissed. Eddie, you're in there.
Eddie.
Okay, sorry.
But I mean, you see people that you haven't seen in years.
I want to know
and
what
then
number we are.
I know,
Yeah.
same. Let the man speak. I want to hear this.
No, but you see people that you haven't seen in years, and then like, and you know, and honestly, this is the worst. And I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna flat out say it to anybody out there who's watching it.
Your family.
Family's the worst.
His
Family is absolutely the worst
His family.
because they will act like they were supporting you, and then
No, my family's on it.
no, family's the worst because they come in and they act like they're your family, which they are.
Yeah, you're-
But then they suddenly disappear,
Yep.
and then when you're in need of them, they're gone. But the second that you're successful, it's like, oh, Rick, I want a free copy of your book, and it's like, dude, where have you been for?
Right.
Where have you been for 10 years?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Well, and that's
it-
the guilt. Like, that's the Italian guilt. Because being Italian, it's
there
like
you go.
family first. Family's first. Your friends.
Family is first,
are
but
your
you know what?
family.
My family is with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I know,
you
right,
know, you could be
right.
my cousin, you could be blood related, but if you're not with me, you're not with me, and you're not family. This is family.
Well, no.
Spider, dance, Spider.
I've always been taught family is family. Blood is thicker than water.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the way it is.
Family
like,
first.
you can have your ups and downs, and I gotta say, I have had some issues with people in my family that I really just will never even. That's just.
Well,
to
you
the
can't
side.
because it
That's just to
damages
the side.
career.
No, it's just to the side. I wish them well. Nothing but blessings. I forgave.
You're talking about like, but see, I guess
You
my
know.
question to you guys is it you're talking about immediate family, like brothers and
Yeah, yeah,
sisters,
yeah.
or cousins?
More like
Well,
cousins,
and-
uncles,
Okay.
you know.
yeah.
and-
First cousins,
Yeah,
second
Cousins.
cousins.
first
Okay.
cousins.
All right.
That's more along.
That's
I mean,
a little bit to me like if you're talking about your brother and sisters,
No, I'm
then
talking
that
about
would
like
be different.
I'm
No.
talking about first cousins.
Okay.
Like, to me, like, I was brought up with these people.
Yeah.
Like, they were like genuinely like brothers and sisters to me. But
But I
certain
grew up
situ-
like my cousins are my siblings.
Yeah,
That's how-
exactly.
But she
And
had
that-
a
yeah.
much.
There's six
She had
of
a
us.
small family.
I mean, there's 6 of us. That's not bad.
Oh no,
So
we
right,
have
like you're talking
tons.
about like,
like
you know, dozens.
yeah. On a similar note, like if one of those people and just anybody reference, but if they contacted me and said, hey, I got a flat tire, I need help.
Right.
I'm the type of person that I will drop everything and I don't care if I haven't talked to you. I'll be like, you know
Right.
what? I'm right in the area. I'll come help you out.
Right.
But they're not the type of people that I would go, hey, I'm really in a bind here. Can you come help me out?
Right.
Because I can't rely on them.
Right, exactly.
You know, so it's like that's the type of people who are more, in my mind, whether they're family or friends, are acquaintances and not friends. Because
Exactly.
friends, you drop
Anything.
a lot for to go help them.
See?
I would say that's fair. So you guys have anything else to add? I mean,
Yeah.
about friendship and just like, you know,
Any
sitting here,
shout
we
outs to your BFFs out
I don't
there?
have BFFs. He's right here.
Oh,
Aww.
that's so sweet. I'm gonna
That's
throw
I'm
up.
still trying to figure out what number we were.
I know, right?
Oh my god!
yes, keep that hair that way. Anyway, so anyway, to friendship.
Yes.
And, if you guys have
Salute.
anything to add, please comment.
Comment below.
Follow Vesper Brothers.
Subscribe.
Grazie.
What is the other thing?